What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned around money and investing? Since this channel is all about financial freedom for women entrepreneurs, I asked some powerhouse women to share their honest answers to this question. These are established women entrepreneurs, many of them making 6 and 7 figures, and you will learn a lot from their experiences to shorten your own learning curve and accelerate your path to wealth and financial freedom. I'll get the party started and share that one of the biggest lessons I've learned around money and investing is how to manage cash flow. Especially as an entrepreneur, an investor whose income can change dramatically from month to month. When you tap the like button and stay till the end of the video, I'll share more details about what I've discovered and how it's shaped the way I handle my finances and build wealth for myself and my kids. But first, let's see what my friends have to say.
One of the biggest lessons that I have learned around money and investing is that it is honestly so tied to your belief system and your relationship with money. I used to have a completely dysfunctional relationship with money, and now my money relationship is so much better, and I make more and I have more, and I'm continuing to push my boundary to keep creating more and more. And I know that it comes down to my beliefs and my mindset all around money.
The biggest lesson that I have learned about money and investing is that it is never too late and everything counts. Just start, even the smallest amount, and also that I can do it. I really had a mental block around I'm not a numbers person. I'm not good at math. I'm not able to do this. Just a lot of belief blocks around myself. So actually, thanks to Penelope and the FFA program, it's really changed my life. It's changed my self-concept in a massive way. So I'm so grateful. That's really been the impetus for that change in my self-belief.
One of the biggest lessons around money and investing for me has been just, again, that learning how to do it on my own and realizing how easy it can actually be. I think investing can sound like and feel like such a, oh my gosh, it's so complicated and I don't even know where to start. And when in reality, it can actually be pretty simple and straightforward. And of course, Penelope, I've learned so much about this from Penelope as well as other folks too, where all I do with my investments for the most part is buy index funds. And index funds, by nature of what they are, there is somebody working to make sure that those are good. And so I think that lesson of just, it actually can be a lot simpler than you expect it to be. And if we just blindly stick money in a savings account where it's not really earning any interest at all, or we just do whatever our bank tells us to do, or do whatever a financial advisor tells us to do, we can be losing a lot with that over time. So being able to be empowered, like understand and be empowered with what we're doing with our investments is definitely one of the biggest lessons that I've learned.
I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that you have to go out and educate yourself. My parents did very well financially, and they didn't pass on the knowledge. And even though someday they may pass on the financial fortune that they were able to make, the knowledge didn't come. And so I had to educate myself. I don't want to do that to my kids. So I think it's very important that I learn and I up level so I can teach them so they don't make the same mistakes down the road.
Everyone will lend you money when you don't need it, and no one will lend you money when you do need it. And it's because of the ability for those lenders for you to look reputable in terms of paying them back.
One of the biggest lessons I've learned around money and investing is that when I match my time and my energies, what I work on, with my values, it tends to work out best for me. I have never been one of the people that takes a job just for the money. In fact, I was a Peace Corps volunteer, so that was a 2-year job that literally paid nothing, but it was one of the best things I've ever done because it just opened me up in a new way. I got so much more out of it than what money could buy at the time in terms of skills and insight, and it sent me into a whole new career when I got back from Peace Corps. And so I've learned, don't spend your time on things that you don't believe in, and don't spend your money on things that you don't understand.
Don't be afraid of your money. Money management is a learnable skill, and it's not one that we are taught in school. It's not one that we are taught at home. Let me rephrase that. We are taught a form of it at home, but we can only be taught what our parents or caregivers knew. If they were not skilled in money management, or they were skilled, say, in making money but not growing money, or maybe they were skilled in growing money this way but not that way, or maybe they were skilled in holding money but not protecting it, we can only learn from what is right there in front of us. Money management, financial management is a learnable skill, and there's two aspects to it. There's the external actual management of, what's coming in, what's going out, what's it doing. But there's also the internal aspect of it. You might think of it as an energetic aspect. You might think of it as an emotional aspect. You might think of it as a vibrational aspect. You might even think of it as a spiritual aspect. Quite frankly, I think of it as all of those things all wrapped up together. You have to learn to manage both. The good news is both of those skills are learnable, just the same way that driving a car is a learnable skill.
The biggest money lesson I learned that cash flow is queen. Revenue means nothing if your system can't sustain it, and profit beats prestige every time. You don't want to build your wealth from your best launch. You want to build it from your systems in place and having that continued income.
One of the biggest lessons I've learned around money is definitely paying yourself first. As an entrepreneur, sometimes your income can go up and down. And so it's really important, even when it goes up and down, to make sure you're still in the habit of paying yourself first and really putting your money into your savings and then handling everything else as it comes, and just being in the habit of that. And also to have a nest egg for emergencies, because you never know when those curveballs can come. You could be in a relationship and then all of a sudden you're back to being a solo income household because that relationship didn't work out. And I see women lots of times getting stuck in bad relationships or situations because of money. So to me, my biggest lesson has always been to pay myself first and to put that money away and also save for a rainy day.
One of the biggest lessons I've learned around money and investing is that emotions and investing do not mix. When I make my decisions based on fear or urgency, or even if it's excitement, if it's not grounded, I am far more likely to chase shiny objects, or I'm far more likely to bail out too soon. And I've done both. So what I've learned to do instead is hit the pause button. And I don't act right away. I'll set it aside for a day or two. I'll give myself some time to breathe and reflect, and then I will come back to it with clearer energy, because clarity doesn't come when you're in reaction mode. It comes when you give yourself enough space to respond with intention. So there really is power in the pause.
One of the biggest lessons that I've learned around money is to keep it in flow. There's a saying, and we have a lot of saying, a penny saved is a penny earned, that we're going to work 9 to 5 until we're 65, and we'll just save the money and then enjoy life later. And one of the mottos that I use in my practice is to live your legacy while you're building it. So I like keeping money in flow. Now, that means that when I earn money, and when my husband and I, earn money, it has to go into some, quick bank account, a business account or a personal account, but it doesn't stay there too long. We're always going, how much money do we have in the account? Because we immediately move that money to go into flow. Where can we invest? What can we be looking for? We're always gauging and projecting out how much cash and capital do we need to invest in the next syndication? How much cash and capital do I need to invest? Be able to invest, to hold another note, to buy another property. We buy properties under $30,000 for cash. So we're getting ready to do that. And we know when we're close, we're starting to look for those properties and waiting for that cash flow to come in, so that we can put it in flow rather than letting it sit there and stagnant and save in a savings account or a checking account. So I wish I would have done that sooner. I wish I had learned to put it in flow and not save it in the traditional methods.
A lot of people use money to define who they are, and my dad has this saying that We make money. Money doesn't make us. And to understand also that money is a tool. And it's like, when you're trying to turn a screw and you go get a screwdriver, the purpose is you're trying to open something. So you're not really focusing on the screw. So money is just a tool that you use to really help you with your dreams, to really help you facilitate how you want to show up in the world. And also I learned that money is meant to be in a flow cycle. So it's not something that you hoard or think that you're in a scarcity mindset of not having it. You need to just create the cycle of it coming in and out, and then really being good about how you manage your inflows versus your outflows. So that's what I've learned about money. If you don't understand that, you're going to be in your life is going to be in trouble. Because money does support how you see and view that and understand that.
I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned about money and investing is that it's always better to have it and get to invest it than to just spend it. I've kind of been a saver my whole life, but I love watching money grow. I love watching savings account grow. I love watching those numbers get bigger and bigger. But I also get that it's a privilege to get to do that. And I think that's just one of the things that has always been really important to me. And I want to keep valuing that, right? Like, I think it's a real gift to get to invest and to get to benefit from what investing does for us. So that's something that I've always really loved.
Take risks, but take risks cautiously, if that makes sense, right? High risk investments generally have the best chance of payoff, but they're also the highest risk and they have the most likelihood of falling apart. So trust my judgment and invest in things that I believe in and spend my money on things that are going to really enhance the quality of my life.
So many powerful lessons. If you appreciate these wonderful women sharing openly and honestly about money stuff, which, let's face it, is a taboo subject in a lot of families and communities, make sure to check out the links in the description of this video, because we've listed all the fabulous women who shared their wisdom and where you can go to learn more about them and connect with them online, including some really cool resources. Now, I promise to share more about one of the biggest lessons I've learned around money and investing, which is how to manage cash flow, even with an irregular income. This has been completely life-changing for me. Before I discovered that cash flow planning was a thing, I'd make $60,000 in one weekend at a live event, and then all of a sudden realize that I didn't have the $3,000 I needed to book the venue for our client retreat. And I'd be like, I made all this money, where did it go? Once you learn how to create and follow a cash flow plan, you're telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. If I'm gonna be $3,000 short, I would much rather know that weeks or months ahead of time when I have plenty of runway to do something about it, instead of that day when I need the money right now. Now that I know how to manage cash flow, I don't have that stress and drama and scrambling. I can make good financial decisions based on the numbers, like when to hire a new team member or join a mastermind, and see how it'll impact our cash flow. It's a whole new world. If you would like me to walk you step by step through how to manage cash flow, even with an irregular income, this has been so life-changing for me that I've included a deep dive on cash flow planning in our Financial Freedom 101 online 3-day event, including live demos and done-for-you templates. In fact, over the 3 days at that event, we put all your money systems together so your business becomes a vehicle for creating wealth and financial freedom. You can see all the details at financialfreedom101online.com. This is one of the most important skills to master if you want to build wealth and become financially free, and most entrepreneurs have no clue how to do it effectively. So if you're coming to Financial Freedom 101, I can hardly wait to show you what took me years of trial and error, pain and frustration to learn, so you can skip the financial stress and build wealth more quickly. In the meantime, check out the next video in this series where we answer the question, what's one of the best purchases you've ever made that's given you tons of value and fulfillment for the money?